All right, guys. So, welcome to my brand new video series. I know this is going to look way different than the rest of my videos, but this is officially the first episode of Flipping Friday. We're going to talk about this gaming PC in just a second, but I want to give you a very quick rundown of what Flipping Friday is going to be all about. So, first up, as you can already tell, it's going to be way less produced and it's going to be more personal, vloggy style. We are going to have a couple good looking shots, but this series is definitely not going to be focused around those sexy B-roll shots. Not even going to show you the benchmarks of the builds and whatnot, but rather I want to showcase the exact experience of what it looks like to flip gaming PCs for a profit. So as you guys know, I've been flipping PCs for several years now, and things have really taken off since we launched the ZTT website. So I have a firm grasp of how much to pay for parts to assemble a build, and I can give you estimated profits before I even sell them, which will be super useful. So we are going to talk about that build in just a second, but yeah, just want to give you guys a quick disclaimer of what this series is going to be about. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let's run that pre-roll ad really quickly, and then we'll get into the build.
GVG Mall is not just the sponsor of today's video, but it's literally the exact website that I'm personally using to buy my Windows 10 key for the PC that we're building today. GVG Mall is hooking up Flipping Friday viewers with an exclusive 18% off discount code if you use ZTT18 at checkout. Please don't be one of those PC flippers that has to explain in the description of your post what an unactivated version of Windows 10 is. Just pay the tiny price tag on GVG Mall, way cheaper than retail by the way, activate every single one of your builds, and reap the benefits in your flipping business. All the links you need are down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code ZTT18.
Here are all the parts for the build. I paid a total of $586 for everything here. This is a combination of both new and used parts. Certainly paid a little bit more than I should have for the GPU, but just like every other ZTT video, everything that I talked about today is linked down in the description. So for our main performance parts here, the CPU I actually got in a CPU Mobo combo off Mercari. This is a Gigabyte B450M DS3H version 2, if that will focus. And also it came with the Ryzen 5 1600AF. I actually paid just $130 for that combo. I've been seeing a ton of these first generation Ryzen CPU and like B450 or A320 motherboard combos. Highly recommend starting any mid-range flip with something like this from a used website like Mercari. For the RAM, we have the Crucial Ballistics 16 gigabyte kit clocked at 3200 megahertz, which is perfect for something like the 1600AF. And then finally, this GPU that I paid way too much for is the Sapphire Pulse RX 570 4 gigabyte model. Now, the thing about this one is I actually bought this graphics card like right in the thick beginning of the GPU shortage. It was when you couldn't find any stray deals like you can today. So I actually paid $200 for this, which is definitely not a great start to the Flippin' Friday all about profit generating series, but it is what it is. And I'm going to show you today that even if you overpay for a graphics card, you can still make some money with a gaming PC flip. All right, so now that we know what we're working with, it's time to just jump in and build the PC. I'm gonna show you just a couple quick clips using this other camera with the tripod here just to show you the progression of the build and whatnot. I'm gonna stop the little montage every time there's something noteworthy that's like worth talking about, or if I have any issues during this PC build. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and then once the PC build is done, we'll talk about how it went first off, and then once again, how much profit you can expect from a PC flip like this, even though, like I said, it's rocking an incredibly overpriced GPU. So the one thing I'm noticing right off the bat is, wow, do I build gaming PCs way faster when I'm not live streaming? Shout out to all of you that are subscribed over on twitch.tv/SaxTechTurf. Over there, it takes me so long to build gaming PCs, and I just did everything that we have to do on the motherboard in like 6 minutes. I'm actually digging this so far, but now it's time to put on the cable extensions for the power supply, and then we're going to start getting everything inside the case. So one thing about these Formula Mod cable extensions, which you guys know I've used a bunch before, is they're great because they're cheap, but pretty good quality for the price. And they even come pre-cable combed, as you can see here. However, they're only clear or see-through, meaning if you're trying to put together like a black and red gaming PC, which I am, you are going to have to supply your own cable combs for cable extensions. Otherwise, the clear just doesn't look right. You also can't remove these, but you can slide these all the way down to the edge, like where it's going to be tucked in the cable basement, so, or the PSU basement, so you're not going to see it, and then you just put on the cable extensions up here in the visible part, and you're good to go. Now, the thing about cable extensions is some people may argue that it directly cuts into your profit, but I would say it's the opposite. Yes, they will cost you an extra $15 to $30 to add onto your build guide, but if you do it properly and you tailor the entire color scheme of the build with your cable extensions, then these alone are going to boost your profit numbers by at least double of whatever you pay for the extensions. At least that's what I've seen so far. Plus, if you're promoting your gaming PC builds on Instagram or Twitter or anything, then those pictures are just going to look so much more crispier. Cable extensions are always worth it. Now, another thing that's almost always worth it, in my opinion, that like nobody outside the ZTT community does, is if you have a case with a PSU cutout, which I actually prefer because of this reason, rather than showing off this super ugly power supply sticker, take that thing off and just buy a $5 roll of vinyl. I would recommend just buying the basic colors to start, like black and red or black and white, and then just cut them to size of the power supply, and then that way you can cover it up. You'll see here at the end soon, it's going to be so worth it. These really tie the color scheme together very nicely. So for the fans here, this Antec case actually just came with one black fan that was at the rear exhaust. So I moved that to the front, and then I just got an extra Enermax random black fan that I had laying around, which most PC flippers will have. That's going to be completely covered by this front panel, so we won't see that, because the main important fans here are these two Corsair SP1 or AF, or no, these are SP120s. They're not supposed to be here for airflow. These are mainly designed for like a radiator, but they'll be perfectly fine. They don't produce these anymore. These are like from like half a decade ago, but these will look really nice as the rear exhaust fans here in the back, and then you're not really going to see those. So this will tie together this red and black color scheme, hopefully quite nicely. PC is almost together, as you can see, but the one thing that I absolutely hate about most budget micro ATX motherboards is there's never enough fan headers. So always make sure, if you're a PC flipper, to keep something like these Deepcool 4-pin and PWM fan hubs in stock, because we have 4 fans here today, and well, 5 if you include the CPU, and there's only one case fan header on this entire motherboard, and it's also in a terrible spot, which is right back here, meaning that we have to bring the cable all the way down from there and then behind the behind the graphics card back to here. So super annoying when motherboard manufacturers do that, but I guess that's why they're so cheap. Alright guys, so just like that, the GPU is in. The back panel successfully went on despite my not up to snuff cable management in the back there. But the PC is already done, and oh my goodness guys, this looks so good for only being a $586 gaming PC. Let's take a very quick look at some sexy B-roll shots. Gonna limit it in the Flippin' Friday series, but let's have a look, and then we'll get back to this desk here and we'll crunch some numbers before wrapping up this video.
All right, so here you have the final parts list total, again totaling to $586. What I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna start selling this PC at $750, which I easily think that you can get for a build like this, which will result in a pretty good profit. $750 obviously isn't the best value for a 1600 AF and RX 570, but in 2021, I think people will be more than willing to pay for it, especially since the system looks that good. To save even more money, if you are gonna try and copy this flip, the number one place to save money other than the graphics card is on the RAM sticks. So I paid $75 for the Crucial Ballistics RAM kit. And if you're following ZTT deals in the ZTT Discord server, then you can spend like $50, $55, up to $60 on a black RAM kit, and that'll save you some serious money to increase that profit margin. And then of course, it's probably not a good idea to start a flip with a $200 RX 570, but it is what it is. I had to get rid of it, but the build looks good enough that I think we'll be able to get away with selling it for $750. If you guys want to see this build fully benchmarked, then feel free to let me know down in the comment section. I'll have Sam whip up a full benchmarking run, and then we will upload that to the ZTT Extras channel. 1600 AF and RX 570 isn't super common anymore just because 570s are way overpriced, but let us know if you want to see that. And then for those of you that are wondering, I will be selling this build over on the ZachsTechTurf.com website. This will probably go live on the November 1st launch. It's too soon for the October 1st launch, so be on the lookout for that. I will be selling it just for $750. And then finally, please let me know what you thought of this first ever episode of Flipping Friday. Give me any feedback that you have here. If you didn't like my attempt at steadying the camera, and just all of like the unscripted, not a lot of sexy B-roll type shots and whatnot, please let me know what you think. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm gonna try and build on this. We're not gonna start every week, but maybe like bi-weekly, and then eventually it might become a weekly Friday thing that you can look forward to. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I will catch you guys in the next video.